Hey, I want to thank Jason for giving me a chance on his channel, and happy birthday, bro.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, our work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, our work is never over.
And once again, I just want to remind you guys, I'm making these videos to speak to white people.
Video just for white people? Dude, that's racist.
Well, you know, you probably can't help it. He's only a white person.
From a white person's perspective. My goal here is to hopefully help some of you white people. It's been hard for you to open your minds or understand kind of the issues going on in our country, racism in general, or ignorance.
What a condescending little cunt. I'm just gonna skip most of what this guy says. I'm using his stuff as a platform in order to talk about issues I want to talk about.
Wrote an article, paper, whatever you want to call it, about white privilege, and I think she called it like the invisible knapsack.
Oh, privilege! Learn to ignore our invisible knapsack is where we store.
But I wanted to just read you some examples. She lists off a ton of examples. I picked out some of my favorites that kind of I think will hopefully make sense to you guys. So think about this, when I read these things, these are things that you have as a white person. And then if you flip it over and you say, do black people have this or do other people of color have this? The answer is no. And remember, all these are being said from the point of view of a white person.
Just everything this guy is going to say is completely subjective. The first one is a very fine example, so take it off, Mr. Knoll.
I can, if I wish to arrange, be in the company of people of my race most of the time.
What about in areas like downtown Chicago, south parts of California, Arizona, New Mexico, or like myself, South Texas? We have a 98% Hispanic population, bro. I don't consider this a problem. It's a fact of life. If you can't handle being around people that aren't the same color as you, I'd consider that a racist.
Aside from that, who cares? Why would I go out of my way to arrange to be with other people my own color when generally I just kind of don't go anywhere and don't hang out with people at all? Is that a privilege? Not hanging out with people because I don't like people?
I can turn on the television or open the front page of a paper and see people of my race widely represented.
No one reads the paper anymore. Unless you're in your 60s, you're not reading the paper. This list was written when? Oh, 1988. It's so relevant. Such wow.
When I am told about our national heritage or about civilization, I'm shown that people of my color made it what it is.
Never mind that we celebrate such people as MLK and other such black leaders throughout American history. Also, never mind the fact that Crispus Attucks, the very first person killed during the Revolutionary War in what we know today as the Boston Massacre, half black and half American Indian. There's a link in the description below if you would like to learn more about Crispus Attucks.
I do not have to educate my children to be aware of systemic racism for their own daily physical protection. That's a big one, and that's really relevant with all this stuff going on.
First off, systemic racism, give me a single law or official guideline that says, kill these black people. And another thing, you know for a fact, by the way, that more white people are killed on average than black people are by the cops. Also, there's more black on white crime than there is white on black crime. And so if this really was a system meant to fuck up the black people, wouldn't in reality it be the other way around?
I would also say, what about these guys? These guys aren't powerful? These guys don't have privilege? What's the deal here? If this is a white supremacist system designed to keep the black man down, then how did these men ever attain any sort of power? It falls apart if you look into it with just a little bit of a critical eye, doesn't it?
Right now, I can be pretty sure that my children's teachers and employers will tolerate them if they fit school and workplace norms. My chief worries about them do not concern others' attitudes towards their race.
This was something I particularly wanted to pick up on. You see, growing up in my school, we had a massive Hispanic population, and that included the teachers. Now, I got into a fight every fucking week because this Hispanic kid didn't like white people. I'm nothing but a bolillo, a cracker, cornbread. Okay? How often do you think that those kids were punished for trying to beat me up more than I was because they instigated the fight and used racial slurs against me? The answer is none. And actually, quite often, I had this happen on 3 separate occasions. Kids would be picking on me because of my race, and I would tell them that they're a piece of shit and a coward. And you know what they would do? They would run to the teacher, and even the white ones. They'd run to the teacher and say, "Oh, he called me a beaner, he called me a wetback," and I got racial slander on my permanent school records because of a fucking lie, and the teacher's fucking sympathizing with this kid because he's a Mexican Hispanic. Okay? So don't give me that kind of shit.
I can swear or dress in secondhand clothes without having people attribute these choices to the bad morals, the poverty, or the illiteracy of my race. I'm never asked to speak for all people of my racial group.
Look, if you're going to swear and cuss and be illiterate and you're going to be wearing secondhand clothes, fact of the matter is everybody will look down on you no matter what your skin color is. Yeah, it's a shitty fact of life, but it's a fact of life. Second-class citizens come in all shapes, colors, and creeds, okay? Now, I don't understand what this fetishizing is by the left of, why should I have to speak for my race? Because the fact of the matter is the only people that they are literally making speak for their race or hold to any kind of standard because of an individual within their race is white people. You know, I don't hear them going and looking at the fact that 60% of black people support Black Lives Matter, which is a violent terrorist organization, and saying things like, well, why do all y'all black people support this? It's a shit ton of you supporting this. Why are you doing this? But then again, they'll turn around and be like, why don't y'all white people support Black Lives Matter, huh? Why not?
I can remain oblivious of the language and customs of persons of color who constitute the world's majority without feeling in my culture any penalty for such oblivion. I can be pretty sure that if I ask to talk to a person in charge, I will be facing a person of my race. I can go home from most meetings of organizations I belong to feeling somewhat tied in, rather than isolated, out of place, outnumbered, unheard, held at a distance, or feared. Wow, that one is big, because I talk to Brittany a lot, and she feels that way a lot. My wife is black, by the way, if you didn't know. Anyway.
Again, this is just a matter of feeling uncomfortable around people that aren't the same color as you. And quite frankly, that's pretty racist. If you feel that everyone around you hates you because you're a different color than they are, then the only racist in the room most likely is you, to be honest. Where I live, I am constantly surrounded by people that are Hispanic, and I feel no difference between me and them whatsoever. These are people I grow up with. These are people who I live with. You know, there's no reason for me to feel different just because of skin color. It's the ideology, points of view, and friendships that matter. And I can proudly say that I have never, ever felt uncomfortable around a Mexican because he's a Mexican. And if you can't say that about somebody of a different race, then you're a piece of shit.
If I declare there's a racial issue at hand, or there isn't a racial issue at hand, my race will lend me more credibility for either position than a person of color will have. I am not made acutely aware that my shape, bearing, or body odor will be taken as a reflection of my race. I can worry about racism without feeling seen as self-interested or self-seeking. Wow. That's
You know, once again, these are all just arbitrary, this is how I feel, this is what I think people think kind of things. It's nothing based on empirical evidence or anything. And by the way, I do actually think that white people have worse body odor than any other race. I don't know why, we just sweat so much.
I can think over many options, social, political, imaginative, or professional, without asking whether a person of my race would be accepted or allowed to do what I want to do.
Yes, because as we all know, conservatives just expect people like Ben Carson, Steve Harvey, and Kanye West to only ever be Democrats and to never want to speak with people like Donald Trump. Oh wait, it's you fucking liberals that constantly damn people over it. The weird part is everything that's been listed off as far as feelings and thoughts can only apply to people that are liberals, it seems. Modern day conservatives and not full-blown violent liberals do not think by these terms, whether they're black or white or anything else. The only people that hold black people to a racial standard is liberals and blacks that expect them to always be Democrats. Everything else this guy says is a bunch of arbitrary non-points of, oh, you're going to listen to me more because I'm white and you're white, which is condescending and cunt. So, yeah, let's see what this cute little Hispanic girl says a song I should listen to, and we're going to listen to it at the end.
Hey, you filthy mother trucker, you should probably end this video with a pretty good song. Why don't you try Shinedown? Cut the cord.
I want to thank Reckless Trucker for giving me a basis to work with here, and I'm gonna cut it off right there. Listen, this whole privilege thing is all about feels over reals. It's not anything. It's paranoia at the expense of people who don't need more paranoia. And I want to thank everybody for watching this far. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and hopefully I tagged this right and enough eyeballs get on it. And while you're at it, go down in the description below and grab Reckless Trucker's link and subscribe to that guy, because he's got some good content, and I hope that you will consider it. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.